Good, beautiful day. Here we are up on the rooftop again where we love to be. But what I'll look at is, let's take this off, and I look at, we've got some synthetic paper here, but it's not covering the entire, you see the plywood there? This tells me that they didn't wrap the entire roof. So they probably, judging by this direction of that dotted line, that tells me, that's a nail line, and it's about 4 feet wide. So what they've done is they've actually wrapped just the edge of the roof here, right? Now, when we do a roof, what we'll do is we'll do 3 feet of ice and water shield, and then we'll use that wrap, and we wrap the roof horizontally all the way up, layering all the way to the cap here, okay? As well as on the front of the roof, we replace both valleys there, and we'll replace all these vents. Okay, now after we wrap the roof, well, of course, then we'll put the shingles on and get the shingles done. The other important key factor that you want to look at when somebody's doing your roof is, are they doing a thorough job? So let's have a look here. One of the things that I found when I was inspecting for other possible wildlife entry points is I come around the corner here, and what do we see? We see that they stopped doing the shingles right here. Now, I'll tell you why they did that. One, because they're lazy and they didn't want to keep moving their ladder over and finishing the roof. They also did not strip the old shingles off this area here. All they did was put the new shingles on top of the old shingles. They only stopped right there because if you stand way over there, which, let's flip the camera around and look from over there. There you go. So just if we come back far enough, you can see these red shingles going back. You can actually see the corner there of where they end, right before it goes behind the house. But the thing is if you walk back far enough and you're looking up, you come back far enough. Now, unless you got a trained eye and you know what you're looking for, you actually might be tricked. So you can see actually from here where they actually stop. Let's get back up on. Right, so that's why they stopped right there, because that's as far as you can see. You won't be able to see this far back here unless you were to go stand over in that person's backyard, and you're not going to do that. And I'm sure the neighbors aren't going to look over and say, hey, by the way, they didn't finish your roof. Now let's go on over to the other side. Let's see what's going on over here, because I'm going to assume, actually, I'm not even going to assume, that'd make an ass out of you and me. I'm going to guess. I'm going to put money on it. And yes, I already looked, so that's why I'll put my money on it. But I already knew anyways that if I was to go stand over on that corner and look up over here on this side, we're going to see the same thing. Because you see, when you stand over there, you're only going to be able to see so far up the side of the roof here until that roof blocks your view. So let's have a look over the corner here. And sure enough, there you go. They've only gone right to there and then stopped. They didn't shingle the rest of the roof over here. So again, let's hop over there. Let's go see what it looks like. So if we stand back, of course the sun is not going to help us here, but if we look, right there is where the shingles end, and of course we can't see any further. The tree is hiding it. Such a good job. So let's get back up there. Exactly, right to there here. There we go. So just like when we were standing on the road there a second ago, you can see that that's why they stopped right there, because you're not going to see any different. This is why I always say to people, if you're going to get somebody to do work up on your roof or do work somewhere where you can't see what they're doing, tell them to take pictures, tell them to take videos. This is how you build trust with customers. Now, the next thing I'm going to have a look at as we come down the roof here, okay, is we were talking about the roof over on the other side there where they didn't finish the roof. Now, let's just turn this camera around for a second, and we're going to check this roof edge here. So up underneath here, because what'll happen is if I see something like that on the side, I always like to come over here and check underneath. Let's get the camera set up nicely here. Check underneath, and sure enough, when I look underneath here, I'm just going to jam my glove up underneath here to hold it up in the air. There we go. Okay, so it's funny, I only have 2 hands. But when we look underneath here, what'll happen is this here is just that synthetic paper. You see how I can peel that up there? And you can actually see underneath is just plywood, right? So right here for the first 3 feet, this plywood is supposed to be protected by an ice and water shield that gets stuck down to that plywood. and adheres down so that that wood is not exposed, so that if you do get ice buildup here in the eaves trough and it starts to go underneath here, it's not going to damage that wood. This synthetic paper, that's the stuff we use to wrap the rest of the roof up here. Okay, now that layers, I can show you in another video that will designate specifically for roofing. But this is just a little added bonus that I offer my customers when I get the animals out, is I'll also walk them through the process of the proper ways to do the roofing and make sure that either one, they got a good deal when they got the roof done, or sometimes what happens is they'll purchase a house that just had the roof done and the previous owners did a, I hate to say it, but like a half-assed job. They hired the cheapest company possible just to get the roof done, and upon immediate inspection, it looked like a good roof. It looked like it was done properly. However, in the end, this roof, could end up having problems in the next 5 years, and it was probably only done a couple years ago. And this roof should have lasted 20, 25 years if it was done right.